It's the end of the 7th week with the building team being on site, and they've just left for the last time, having finished their work transforming the space inside and taking away all of their stuff. This is what we've been up to. Monday was a bank holiday in Spain, but 2 of the team were on site working, continuing their work from last week on repairing and rebuilding the openings in the corner of the space downstairs. I wasn't actually able to be here the whole day, and I didn't record the work when I did visit briefly. So when I turned up on Tuesday morning, this was the difference between the end of last week and what I found on that day. And on Tuesday morning, Haggy got straight into working on the next opening through there. And while Haggy was working on the opening, Sandu was working on creating a temporary solution for closing out the main opening on the ground floor through there, using old doors from inside the house and some hinges that he'd found in various parts of the building. In my last video, there were 1 or 2 comments about the openings behind me and the fact that we were closing them out and that I wasn't going to apparently leave them as walls of glass to enjoy the view from all around. And I did leave a fairly detailed reply that I pinned to that video, so by all means go back and have a look at that if you want more information. At the moment, all we're really doing here is putting in some temporary measures for the security of the house and to stop birds and animals being able to get in. And later on in this video, I'll give a little bit of an explanation as to the design that is going to influence what windows I have in these areas. Last week when Haggy was working on the first opening downstairs, before he put the beams in, he had to clear out some of the concrete from this floor so that when the beams were in, he could put concrete back on top and make sure that they were fully secure. And this week he had to do the same thing again, unfortunately. So he had to break into some of the concrete here so that in the second opening that we're working on, when he puts the beams in, he can then fill it up with cement from on top. Much as I was enjoying watching the guys do their work, especially Sandu putting together a fairly ingenious temporary solution for closing out that opening, I thought I'd give them a bit of a break from having a camera in their face and do some work outside. So I headed over there to clear away some of the tiles so that I could get the area ready for some possible work coming up in the near future. And having got the opening ready, Haggy and Sam were then able to show us how strong they were by lifting the two very wide new beams into place above the opening. And having put the beams in the evening before, the guys then worked on widening this opening to give it its new shape and dimensions. And then as part of the repair work on all of this wall, Sam then got on with the fairly thankless task of chipping off the concrete that was on that corner of the wall so that we could check the quality of the stones behind it.
Baru joki no.
And then on the next day, with the team busy building up the edges of the new opening, I did some more work outside, starting off with cutting the grass in that area, and then some other odd jobs around the place to help for work in the future.
Untuk merawatnya. Nah, ini kan. Rawanya. Iklanara tua ya.
Non lo prendere per la mano, perché domanda cosa so.
Mira si es fácil.
It's now the last day of the week and the team have got a little bit of work to finish off and a couple of odd jobs to do for me. So we'll see how we get on.
Uma vez non publicaste, ma adesso también.
And with the team having gone for the last time, and this area being quite a lot clearer than it's been for a few weeks, I'm now going to head back inside and talk about the work they've done. And first up, I'm going to talk about the work upstairs. 7 weeks ago, I was standing about here, standing over some very rotten wooden beams there, with a very decrepit wall there. And I was explaining the plan to open up this whole space. And in the last 2 weeks, I haven't really focused on this area because there hasn't been much work here. But I just wanted to highlight how different it does now look. So here's a quick clip from what it looked like 7 weeks ago. Because floors, whole walls, and all the old rotten wooden beams are going to be removed, and a whole series of new wooden beams are going to be installed. And now with this whole space opened up, it's an absolute pleasure to be able to walk along here without worrying about safety, and to be able to look through this peephole here to see the incredible view. In the future, it's going to be a lot easier to enjoy the view through there than looking through that little peephole, because that will actually be a great big double opening window, pretty similar in size to the opening there. And there will be a third opening with a window in that space there. So this space, which will be a bedroom, should have pretty much 300-degree views of all the area around. And then this area here will be a big ensuite bathroom. And this area here will be another big bedroom. Now let's head downstairs and talk about the work from this week. And the first bit of work that the team finished this week was the finish on this new opening, which had moved from being quite a small opening in very bad state here to now being a much bigger opening with what I think is a pretty beautiful edge. And while the work in the whole of this area has obviously opened up the house massively by moving this opening a little bit and making it wider, this has actually opened up the house to some new views that I really love. For instance, being able to see all the way through to the end of that wall there, and from that point there, being able to see all the way through to the bottom of the stairs. And then the second bit of work has been on this opening here, which was originally about this position here, but has now been widened and moved here so that you get a clear view from all the way from that wall through to the wall to there. So once again, opening up this whole space even more. And the reason for moving the opening this way by 65-70 centimeters, and also the reason why we've left a brick finish on these parts there, is because in the plans for the house, this whole wall will be a series of cupboards for storage, and in the space around the corner it will be the utility room, and there will be a bathroom space in here. While through here, this space, as I've mentioned before, will become the main entrance, and then through this space here, the area behind me is going to become a big open plan kitchen with big windows there and big windows in that section there to enjoy the view from. And then there will be an opening to the outside through a door through this section here, and then the kitchen will open up into a big dining space which will have big window openings there and there to enjoy the light that comes through pretty much through the whole day, and obviously the views in front. So those are the designs that I'm working to, and doubtless they will be controversial, and there might be some comments attached to this video suggesting different things, and I'm looking forward to being able to read them, to reply to them in the comments, or possibly in my next video. But needless to say, I've given a lot of consideration to the layout of the house, and if there are a lot of comments about why I'm choosing this one, perhaps in a future video I'll give much more detail as to my thinking about it. And while I'm really excited to have this opened up space, there is still a lot of work to do in this whole area. For instance, taking out these props which my architect has suggested that we keep in until we have built up this wall with its proper stone finish and a slightly stronger foundation there, which will all happen when we're actually doing the final finish on the wall and the windows, etc. So there's a lot of work to do, some of which I'll be doing in the coming weeks and some a bit later on. But I'll be carrying on with the work next week for the first time in a while on my own, and it'll probably be quite a lot of work inside, and some of it will probably involve digging out some rock. But to break that up a little bit, I think I'll probably do some sort of trip to a point that you can see out and about. So if you've got any requests as to what you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. And that's it for now. The end of a 7-week phase of work, which has seen a dramatic transformation of the inside of the house there, and some changes to the outside as well. I hope you've enjoyed this week and the preceding 7 weeks, and that you're excited about what's going to happen in the next phase of work over the coming weeks. So I hope to see you then.